Folks, we got a new holiday slasher in town, and I have to say, the Hard Eyes Killer is certainly a fun one. And obviously, we have Valentine's Day fast approaching next week, and we have some really good options this year at the theaters for Valentine's Day. We got this, we got Love Hurts, Companion came out a couple weeks ago. Um, Love Me, which was a great movie I did a review on last week. Love that. Go check out that review. But yeah, so yesterday I had the day off, wasn't doing anything else, so I went over to the movie theater I work at and did a double feature of Heart Eyes and Love Hurts. And I'll be doing a separate video about Love Hurts, but just gonna tell you right away, I preferred Hard Eyes. I was actually expecting it to be the opposite, but no, I had a lot of fun with this movie. Um, and honestly, when it started, I was really concerned, like, oh, was this a bad idea? But this movie was great, um, because it's a multi-genre film, which I think works incredibly well. Because yes, it's a slasher horror movie, but it's also very much a rom com as well. Almost at some points, kind of a um, like a satirical rom com. It's a really funny movie, and there's great romance elements in here as well. But then, of course, you also have the blood and gore of a great horror movie. And you have this great new, potentially new horror icon with the Hard Eyes Killer, HEK for short, as they call him. Um, which I just want to say right off the bat, that was one of the strengths of this movie going in, and kind of the big selling point was the Hard Eyes Killer. This is a really cool design for a character. Um, the Hard Eyes Killer is just such a menace and a beast. I love, like, there are certain moments in this film where he's just walking around and you can just hear the boots stomping. I thought that was great to really kind of bring the heft and the strength of this character, and has a great arsenal of weapons. Obviously, we saw in the trailer has Cupid's arrows, a giant, huge blade. Just a really, really cool character. One thing I will say though, one of the few things I didn't like about this film has to do with the Hard Eyes Killer, and it's just the fact that, in the posters and all the advertising for this film, they show that his actual heart eyes, that they glow red. That only happens once in this movie. There's one scene in particular where his eyes actually glow, and it very much acts as like a night vision type thing, which was cool. But the fact that, like, there are moments in the trailer where they edited in that red glow for the eyes, and in the movie they don't have that. Like, that was the coolest thing about the mask. Like, it's still a cool mask and cool design for the character, but that was one of the big selling points for me. That was one of the things that I thought made him look so unique and so cool. So I just wish they had that more in the movie, especially because most of the time he's on screen, it's in the dark. So it would make sense to have the night vision thing activated for most of it. But whatever. Other than that, again, I really had fun with this, and I really enjoyed pretty much every other aspect of this film. Because again, both horror fans and rom com fans are going to get a lot out of this, and both get their piece of the pie. That's a weird saying. I don't know. Is that a thing? I don't know. I just made it up, I guess. But yeah, it works really well because, again, for horror fans, you have this great new horror slasher character. And the opening scene here, my God. I like slasher films. I love the Scream franchise. But I very much recently got into slasher films. Um, and so I've pretty much only watched them, from the comfort of my home streaming on TV or whatever. I did see Terrifier 3 in theaters, um, and that was a lot. But man, the opening scene of this, like I said, I was starting to think, like, oh, was this a bad idea to come to this movie? Because what I don't do well with is jump scares, particularly in a theater, because at home it's fine, whatever, it's a smaller screen, you can have lights on or whatever. In a movie theater, it's a big screen, it's loud, you're in the dark. there's a lot of jump scare moments in this film, which those of you that like that, you'll love it, obviously. But yeah, this opening scene though was brutal, and very extremely scary, but really helped set the tone for it. And then again, it transitions into kind of a, your great funny goofy moments, which I just absolutely loved. And our two leads of this film, Mason Gooding and Olivia Holt, Scream fans, you'll probably recognize Mason Gooding from Scream 5 and 6. He's returning in Scream 7, and actually, this movie comes to us from Spyglass, the studio that made the two recent Scream movies. And then Olivia Holt was great. I grew up with her on the Disney Channel, so I love getting to see her in more stuff. Hopefully she gets more work soon, because she was great in this, and the two of them have fantastic chemistry. I really love the two of them together. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. The soundtrack here is great. I think the pacing and story is really well done. One of the things I just have to say that the whole horror and rom-com genres blend really well together, because one of the things that kind of deterred me from horror movies previously, and slasher films in particular, is because most of the time that's what people go for, is just for the kills and for the violence, and I don't really care about that part as much. I only am interested if I care about the characters in the story. That's why I like the Scream movies, because it's always kind of like a murder mystery. You're trying to figure out who's Ghostface, and there's at least a part of an element of that in play here. But I really love bringing in the rom-com element. They really spend a lot of time with our two leads and developing that dynamic in that relationship. So I really, really love that. And even if it means, a decent chunk of time where our Hard Eyes Killer is not on screen, I was fine with that, because then when he does come back, he's brutal and he's scary, and it was great. It was really, really great to see. And as I just mentioned, they do end up revealing the identity of the Hard Eyes Killer. That is a part of this story. And it's nothing special. It's very predictable. The character that was revealed to be Hard Eyes, in fact, actually, as soon as the character came on screen for the first time, I leaned over to the person I went to see the movie with and was like, I bet that person's the killer. And boom, they were. And I will say, this is just a thing I feel like in general, for the most part, like once the killer's revealed, it's like you kind of stop caring about the killer, and it's just all right, it's over, whatever. But yeah, Hard Eyes was great. There is a small little post-credit scene as well. It's a fun movie. Again, I really love the way they blended these two genres together. The characters were great, our two leads, and the Hard Eyes Killer was great as well. It's very much set up in to be a standalone film. But if they did a sequel, if they did a second movie, I'd love to see it. Like, this could totally be another Scream, and have someone else take up the mantle of the Hard Eyes Killer, because that's another element in play here as well, is that the Hard Eyes Killer is known. He's like a public figure, has been killing for years, every year on Valentine's Day, to the point where people dress up as the Hard Eyes Killer. Like, they sell Hard Eyes masks somewhere, for some reason, which is really insensitive, in universe. But yeah, Hard Eyes was great. Again, if you're a horror fan, you'll enjoy it. If you're a rom-com fan, you'll likely enjoy it. If you're a fan of both like I am, you'll have a lot of fun with this, and I highly recommend it. So, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think about Hard Eyes? Do you want to see a sequel? What did you think about the killer? What did you think about how Hard Eyes was done? Let me know in the comments below. So, thanks for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I can keep up to date on everything that goes on in the movie life.